I, 28F, never thought my wedding would become a battlefield. But my mother-in-law, Jessica, made sure of that. She didn't just ruin my wedding dress. She did it on purpose, with a smile on her face, just so she could wear white to my wedding and twin with me. I always knew she was obsessed with me, but I never realized how far she would go to steal my moment. The real question was, how far would I go to take it back? My fiancé, Mark, 30, and I had been together for 4 years when we got engaged. His mother, Jessica, seemed nice at first, maybe a little too interested in our relationship, but nothing that raised red flags. Then the copying started. It was small things at first. I got a shoulder-length bob with subtle highlights, and 2 weeks later, Jessica showed up with the exact same haircut and color. When I bought a camel-colored wool coat from a boutique downtown, she somehow found the same one and wore it to our next family dinner. Mark thought it was funny. "She just admires your taste," he said. "You should be flattered. Mom looks up to you." But it got worse. I painted my kitchen a very specific shade called Sage Mist from a specialty paint store. A month later, Jessica invited us over to see her newly painted kitchen. Same exact color, same brand, everything. When Mark and I bought a blue Honda CR-V, Jessica traded in her perfectly good car for the exact same model and color. We went on vacation to this tiny bed and breakfast in Vermont that only had 12 rooms. 3 months later, Jessica posted photos from the same place, staying in the same room we had. "She's just trying to bond with you," Mark always said. "She doesn't have many friends. Be nice." So I tried to be nice. I tried to ignore the creepy feeling I got when she showed up wearing my perfume or carrying the same purse I'd bought the week before. But then came the wedding planning, and everything changed. Finding my wedding dress was magical. It wasn't from some big chain store. I found it at a small boutique that only carried limited designs from independent designers. The moment I put it on, I knew it was perfect. It had delicate beading across the bodice, a flowing silk skirt, and these beautiful cap sleeves made of the finest lace. The designer only made 20 of this dress in the whole world. It cost more than I wanted to spend, but this was my wedding day. This dress was special. It was mine. 1 week before the wedding, Jessica called Mark and insisted she needed to come help with the final preparations. My stomach dropped when I heard her voice on the phone. "I just want to be helpful," she cooed. "A bride needs all the support she can get." I begged Mark to tell her no, that we had everything under control, but he got upset with me. "Why are you being so paranoid?" he said. "She's my mother. She wants to help. Stop making everything about you." So Jessica came over with a bottle of expensive red wine, her smile too bright, her hug too long. "I brought this to celebrate," she said. "The week before the wedding is so special." She wandered around our apartment, touching everything, asking about every detail of the wedding. Then she asked to see the dress. "Just one last time before the big day," she said. "I want to picture my son seeing you in it." I didn't want to show her, but Mark was watching, and I knew he'd get angry if I refused. So I got the dress from the bedroom, still in its protective bag, and carefully took it out. I was holding it up, the white silk catching the light, when Jessica stood up with her full glass of red wine. She took a step toward me, then another, and then she stumbled. Not a real stumble, but the fake kind, where you can see the calculation in their eyes. She crashed into me, and that full glass of dark red wine poured down the front of my perfect white dress. The stain spread like blood across the silk and lace, destroying everything it touched. I stood there, frozen, unable to speak, unable to move. Jessica looked at the ruined dress, then at my face, and I saw it. Just for a second, I saw the tiniest smirk on her lips. Then she gasped and said the words that confirmed everything I'd suspected. "Oops. Well, I wore a white dress to my own wedding, you know. Now we're twins." Mark rushed in when he heard Jessica's fake scream. He saw the dress, saw me, standing there in shock. And what did he do? He went straight to his mother. "Mom, are you okay? Did you hurt yourself?" Jessica started crying, these obviously fake tears clutching at Mark's arm. "I'm so sorry," she wailed. "It was an accident. I'm so clumsy. "Oh, the dress, the beautiful dress." "It was just an accident, honey," Mark said to me. "We can get it cleaned." Don't blame her. She feels terrible. But she didn't feel terrible. I could see the satisfaction in her eyes, even through her fake tears. She had won, and she knew it. There was no way to clean that stain. The dress was destroyed, and we both knew it. That night, after Mark had taken his mother home and gone to bed, I sat alone with my ruined dress. The stain had dried into an ugly, dark mark that would never come out. I thought about all the times Jessica had copied me, all the times Mark had defended her, all the times I'd been made to feel crazy for noticing what was really happening. My sadness turned into something else, something cold and sharp. If Jessica wanted to play games, I would show her how to win. I called my mother that night. "Mom," I said, I need your wedding dress." She didn't ask questions. Mothers always know when their daughters need them. The next morning, I told Mark I'd found a simple replacement dress at a department store. "See?" he said. "Everything works out. Mom feels terrible, by the way. She offered to pay for your new dress." That's so sweet of her," I said, my voice flat. "Tell her not to worry about it." For the next week, I acted defeated. I let Jessica see me looking sad. I let her pat my shoulder with her fake sympathy. "These things happen," she said. "At least you found something to wear." She was so smug, so sure she had broken me. The wedding day arrived bright and sunny. Perfect weather for perfect revenge. I was getting ready in the bridal suite when my sister came in. "Jessica's here," she said. "You need to see this." I peeked out the door, and there she was. Jessica had arrived early, and she was wearing a white dress. Not off-white, not cream, but pure white. It was long and elaborate with beading and lace. She looked like she was the bride. She positioned herself right at the front of the ceremony space where everyone would see her. She kept touching her hair, checking her makeup, basking in the attention as guests arrived and did double takes at her white dress. She was ready for her moment, ready to outshine me in my simple department store dress. She had no idea what was coming. The music started. The doors opened. I stepped out, and the gasps from the guests were immediate. I wasn't wearing a department store dress. I was wearing my mother's wedding gown from 1982. It was vintage perfection, with intricate hand-sewn pearls, real French lace, and a cathedral train that flowed behind me like water. It was the kind of dress you couldn't buy anymore, the kind of dress that held decades of love and happiness. It was stunning. I watched Jessica's face as I walked down the aisle. Her smug smile disappeared completely. Her mouth actually fell open. She looked from my dress to her own, and suddenly her white dress didn't look bridal anymore. It looked desperate. It looked cheap. It looked like exactly what it was, a sad attempt to steal attention from the bride. But the best part was still coming. The ceremony was beautiful. Mark cried when he saw me. His mother sat frozen in her seat, her face getting redder and redder. He saw. Then came the reception. After dinner, it was time for speeches. I stood up with the microphone, my voice clear and strong. "I want to thank everyone for being here today," I said. "This day means everything to Mark and me." I thanked my parents, my bridesmaids, our friends. Then I turned to look directly at Jessica. "I also need to give a very, very special thank you to my new mother-in-law, Jessica," I said. My voice was sweet as honey. Her unforgettable accident last week forced me to find a new dress, and because of her, I was able to wear my own mother's gown, which holds more love and history than any dress I could have bought. It turned out to be the greatest gift she could have given me. The room was silent. Everyone was watching. "And I wanted to give her a gift in return," I continued, "so she never forgets this special moment where we became twins." I nodded to the wedding coordinator, and 2 staff members wheeled out a large easel covered with a cloth. I walked over and pulled off the covering. There, in an expensive gold frame, was the bodice of my ruined wedding dress. The red wine stain was stark and ugly against the white fabric, preserved forever behind glass like a piece of modern art. Underneath, a small gold plaque read, "The day Jessica made us twins." The gasps from the guests were even louder than before. Everyone stared at the ruined dress, then at Jessica in her white gown, and the truth was suddenly crystal clear. "We thought it would make a wonderful piece of modern art for her home," I said into the microphone. "A memory of the day her son finally got a wife to match." The silence in the room was complete. You could have heard a pin drop. Jessica's face had gone from red to white, to a strange purple color. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. She looked around the room at all the guests, staring at her, understanding finally dawning on their faces. Mark stood up slowly from the head table. He walked over to the framed dress, studied it, then looked at his mother. I saw the moment when everything clicked for him. All the copying, all the weird behavior, all the times I'd tried to tell him something was wrong. His face changed, hardened into something I'd never seen before. He walked over to Jessica and said something quietly in her ear. She shook her head, tried to grab his arm, but he stepped back. "You need to leave," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Now." Jessica stood up, her white dress rustling. "Mark, honey, you don't understand," she started, but he cut her off. "I understand perfectly. Get out." She looked around the room at all the faces staring at her, some with shock, some with disgust, some with a kind of horrified fascination. She grabbed her purse and practically ran from the reception hall. The room stayed quiet for a moment after she left. Then someone started clapping. Slow at first, then faster, and suddenly the whole room was applauding. My sister stood up and raised her champagne glass. "To the bride," she called out, "who knows how to serve a dish. Best served cold." Everyone laughed and raised their glasses. The party continued, better than before, lighter without Jessica's dark presence. Mark came over to me, took my hands in his. "I'm sorry," he said, "for everything, for not listening, for not believing you, for letting her get this far. I'm sorry." I squeezed his hands. "We're married now," I said. "It's you and me. That's all that matters." We shared our first dance to our song, and for the first time since we'd gotten engaged, I felt like we were truly a team. Later that night, after all the guests had gone home and we were alone in our honeymoon suite, Mark told me his mother had been texting him nonstop. Apologies, accusations, threats, begging, everything. He showed me his phone, then deleted her number. I meant what I said. "She's out of our lives." He paused. "That thing with the dress in the frame. That was brilliant." I smiled. "She wanted to twin with me. Now she has a permanent reminder of what that cost her." We found out later from Mark's aunt that Jessica had gone home and destroyed her entire kitchen, ripping out the sage mist paint with her fingernails until they bled. She'd posted on social media about being victimized and abused, but everyone who'd been at the wedding knew the truth. The photo of the wine-stained dress in its frame had been shared dozens of times. Jessica had to delete all her social media accounts. She moved to a different state 6 months later. Mark and I have been married for 2 years now. We have a beautiful daughter and another baby on the way. Jessica has never met her grandchildren. She sends letters sometimes, but we don't open them. They go straight into the trash where they belong. My mother's wedding dress hangs in our closet, cleaned and preserved, waiting for our daughter if she ever wants to wear it. And the framed wine-stained dress? We donated it to a modern art museum. They displayed it in an exhibition about family dynamics and boundaries. The plaque now reads, "Sometimes the best revenge is simply showing the truth." Jessica wanted to steal my wedding day. She wanted to be the bride, to be the center of attention, to show everyone that she could take whatever she wanted from me, but she learned something important that day. You can copy someone's haircut, their paint color, their car. You can even destroy their wedding dress, but you can't copy character, and you can't destroy someone who refuses to be broken. She wanted to twin with me, but in the end, she stood alone in her desperate white dress, while I stood with my husband, surrounded by love, wearing my mother's dress like armor. She thought she was playing chess while I was playing checkers. Turns out I was playing a completely different game, and I won.